It doesn't go in front of the court, okay? There are 4 children. One of them is in charge. What are the chances of someone objecting? The chances are very slim because they would have talked among themselves already, the siblings, how much they're selling it for. And normally they choose the most respectable siblings to be in charge anyway. They follow that individual. Okay? Yeah. So if you have full authority, you're in good shape in terms of buying the probate or even selling a probate. Okay? Yeah.
So all days 61 to 75 are when you notify everyone that an offer.
Say that again?
Days 61 to 75.
Yes. So it takes me 60 days to do the legal work. I do the legal work. You, as a realtor, go find me a buyer. 6 days comes up, you give me a buyer. Okay? And then I send out a notice of proposed action proposing that we sell this house to him. 15 days goes by, no one objects. We close escrow. So the roadmap for full authority is this form right here, plus the 2 form. So basically it's page 8, 9, and 10. If you give me your email address, I'll email you this slide. Okay? I'm going to pass out this cup. We'll go this way. Drop me a business card. I'll email you this roadmap to close the probate. Okay? Of what you see on the board. Questions?
This is great information.
Thank Matt for bringing me out here. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about limited authority. Let's talk about limited authority. Okay? So have you ever heard of like people, investor going to court to bid on a house? Have you heard of that? Yeah, so in probate it was limited authority. Or even in a conservatorship setting, like, you know, mom has dementia, she's still alive, but she's going to a nursing home, so the daughter is selling the house. If mom is still alive and is still under a conservatorship, it's always limited authority. Okay, why is that? Because the judge wants to make sure that you're selling the house for mom's good, not for your good. Okay? So let's talk about limited authority. Limited authority. Here's how limited authority works. Same process. I start the probate. 60 days later, I get your client approved. Okay? And it happens to be limited authority because they weren't getting along for whatever reason. Okay? Because it's limited authority, the purchase price has to be at least 90% of what the probate referee says is worth. The probate referee works for the court. Okay? So, it takes me 60 days to get your clients approved. It takes another 2 months to get the probate referee to go out and value the house. Now at 4 months. Now you know what that number is. If the house is $500,000, if it's valued $500,000, you have to buy it for at least $450,000. If it's limited authority, you have to buy the house for at least 90% of what the probate referee says is worth. Okay? Alright, so let's start over. I start the probate, 60 days later, I get your clients approved, and it's limited authority. I now send the paperwork to the probate referee, he's going to value the house. Now it's 4 months. It comes back at $500,000. Okay? You have a buyer, for example, that's buying it for $500,000 full price. Okay? So now that there's a buyer, I now set a court confirmation date. That's where the term court confirmation comes from. Now we need the court to confirm that sale. Okay? So now I have to file the necessary document in court to get a court date. Once I get a court date, I publish it in the newspaper to say we're selling that house on a certain date. That's why people show up. That's why you have fellow investor competitors betting on that house. Yes, ma'am.
If they have to sell it for 90% of what they say the value is,
at least 90%.
So how is there value in going to show up to court unless it needs major renovation or something like that and they value it really low?
Sometimes the probate referee is off. Sometimes the house is so old it's off. Comps, right? Comps is so subjective. Okay? Yeah, so some wise realtor decides to sell it to her best friend for really cheap, not knowing probate that well, and they have a ton of people show up in court. Okay, so you do get good deals. Okay. All right, so I filed a probate petition. 60 days later, I get your client approved. Unfortunately, it's limited authority for one reason or another. 60 days later, so now I send it out to the probate referee. He comes back with a value of $500,000. You have a buyer for me. I set a court date. Now we go to court, right? And when we go to court, you want to go and buy the house too. You think $500,000 is a bargain, okay? So you show up that day in court. What's the bidding? How do we calculate the bidding? What is the first number you're going to bid at? Is it $500,000 plus a buck? The price is right? What's the starting number? There's a mathematical formula you have to follow. Okay? It's called the overbidding amount. I'm going to put that formula on the board for you. This is the formula, the overbidding process in court. Let's say the original bid is the original accepted offer is $500,000. So, $500,000 is the original offer, accepted offer. B, you take 10% of the first $10,000, which is the grant, and then you take 5% of the remaining. So the remaining is basically original bid, 500 minus 10,000, so basically it's 5%, you multiply that by 490, gives you 24,500. You add up all three numbers, 500 plus 1,000 plus 24,500, the total is 525. So the starting bid in court that day has got to be 525,500. Okay? And the bid goes up 530, 535, 540. Whoever wins, the judge is going to say, please spell your name. And the court puts in a court order. You take that court order, you close escrow. When you go to bid on a house, in court confirmation, limited authority, you got to have a 10% deposit. 10% deposit for limited authority, 10% deposit. If it's full authority, it can be any percent. Full authority, the judge never sees that transaction at all. Only with limited authority do you need a 10% deposit. Realtors, what is your commission in probate? If it's limited authority in LA County or San Diego County, it's 5%. If it's limited authority in Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, it's 6%. Full authority is 6%, even in LA. Okay, that's your commission structure in a probate. Okay. What time do we have now? Have I worn you guys out, right? Any questions? Yes.
So why would probate court? I need to bring my girlfriend with me, or how does that work?
You don't have to. You don't have to. But remember what I told you. If you're an investor, you get a better shot at just looking for full authority. If you're buying the lease from someone, if you're getting it from me, 90% of all the probate cases are full authority. With full authority, you don't have to follow that 90% rule. With full authority, because it's not going for court confirmation, there is no auction. With full authority, if the son or daughter is choosing you as the accepted offer, that's it. No one knows about it. It's going to get sold to you. That's it. Okay? All right. Any questions?
Out of your lead list, how many leads do you typically get on a monthly basis?
About 90 per week.
Okay.
About 90 per week. Basically, I send people to court. There's two guys that go and pose them every week, and they travel to LA, they travel to Orange County, they travel to San Bernardino, they travel to Riverside, and they bring it to me every week. And then every Monday the lead goes out. Okay? That's how I have all the beneficiaries' address.
And does it give you the date on those leads that you petitioned for?
Yes, it does. It's got a date file and a court hearing date. Yeah.
So you know your 60-day
So every week
window.
is fresh, yeah. Every week is fresh.
Is this the same for commercial properties as well? All types of properties?
life doesn't prejudice between commercial, residential. If you die without a trust, welcome to probate. In my leads, I do have a column that says annual rental income. When you see that column fill in, you know that's commercial property.
You see what?
Commercial properties. But if you own a commercial property and you don't have a trust, welcome to probate. Okay? If you don't have a trust, I don't care who you are, welcome to probate. Okay? Yeah. Well, yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I'm very interested, so it's actually really cool information. What is your thoughts on being able, instead of actually the ones that are in probate, the ones that actually have a trust, is there a way to be able to get those leads coming in?
Great question. So, if it's in a trust, so mom has a trust. Mom has 4 children, let's say for example. When mom died, because it's in a trust, it does not go to probate, okay?
Through the obituaries.
But the successor trustee has to file an affidavit of death of a trustee. The successor trustee has to notify the county assessor that the current trustee, mom, is dead. And the new owner is the successor trustee that's going to sell you the property, right? Going back, you see it goes back in a circle, right? So you have your title guy pull the affidavit of death of a trustee. That's how you get the trust world.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, what's that called again? Affidavit of what?
Affidavit of death of a trustee.
Yeah. Does your service have those also?
No. I'm only dealing with probate. Affidavit of death of a trustee, you can probably contact a title company that may pull it for you. If you have best friend that works for the morgue, the funeral. Yeah, right? You can do that. How creative are you? How hungry are you, right? If you have no money, you're broke, blame yourself only. No one else. Right, man? Seriously. Everybody who's rich was poor at one point. You can get there too. Stop bitching, get out to work. That's it! Guys, one more. So where are the cups with the business card? I will email you my slideshow, and then I'm also going to give you a link to my Yelp review. If you can do me one small favor, if you found value in this, give me a 5-star review. I would really appreciate it, okay? Thank you very much.
That was really amazing information, so definitely love that. Next month, we're going to get to networking in a second, but next month here, we're going to be talking about raising capital from international clients and international investors. So we have a CPA that specializes in international taxation, and another investor that comes in and actually will be raises capital from international clients as well. So, and then we have in FIBI Manhattan Beach, we have coming up the one on syndication investments. So that should be a good one as well. That's actually in El Segundo now instead of Manhattan. So same area that's on Meetup. So and then we're doing a webinar on 1031 exchange strategies coming up as well. And then there's a couple more coming up. So if you guys go to meetup.com, feel free to check it out, and you'll see all of them there. Have a good night. Thank you guys very much for coming.